Hello YouTubers. This is a little question to ask: is Gordon Brown a Freemason? It seems that Tony Blair was a Freemason. His being involved with being a QC meant that this often opens doors to certain secret societies for one to be trusted in such a position, and many prime ministers are openly acknowledged to have been Freemasons. And basically, in a position of power, much as in the civil service and in the police and the military, Freemasonry is held as being a way of testing somebody's character, so that if you're a Freemason you can hold a high office and a position. So it seems highly likely that somebody like Gordon Brown would be a Freemason. And what clues have we got that he may be? Well, there's certainly a lot of clues out there, such as he seems to fraternize and be present at quite a number of ceremonies which involve Freemasonic charities and this sort of thing. I've seen a number of web pages where Gordon Brown has sort of opened a sort of a monument, or paid patronage to some sort of event. And why would somebody like Gordon Brown be so interested in being seen in and around Freemasons without, obviously, like Tony Blair, openly admitting their membership? Now, Tony Blair was given the opportunity, if you remember, of causing people in high positions of office, like in the civil service and the police force and the military. There was a question brought up before Parliament on whether or not people should have to disclose their membership. And Tony Blair, I believe initially he said that he thought these people should have to do it, because he wanted to be, oh yes, we must be above reproach, you see. And then when it actually came down to the sort of decision to be made, he actually turned round and he said, oh no, we're not going to make the Freemasons do that. No, we won't do that. So going back on what he'd already said, and basically, you've got dual standards in play. I mean, most people who know anything about the Freemasons will know that they use dual standards a lot. It's the business of say that you abhor war and then promote a war, and then say that you hate poverty and then do things which would cause poverty, and say that you promote peace and then be part of a company that sells weapons to foreign countries. This sort of stuff. So it's all dual standards. And Gordon Brown, got into position the same way pretty much as George Bush Jr. did. He basically got it by default through connections of his family. And so Gordon Brown, in the same sense, he got into position of power through default by connections of his party, and he wasn't elected. And this is the thing, it's almost like king making, and the Freemasons like this sort of thing. Not that people need to decide who is going to do a thing, is that they get it by right. They have the right to do these things. And so I'm interested in any information on this. So I looked up some other pages, and I found reference to members of Gordon Brown's family having been Freemasons. And as many of you might know, Freemasons in the family will often mean Freemasons down the line, because what tends to happen is a Freemasonic head in one family will often offer positions to family members. And it doesn't always mean that you're guaranteed to get into the Freemasons, but certainly doors are left open for you to make an approach. And being sympathetic to a cause such as the Freemasons, because of having Freemasons in your family, it would then suggest a higher likelihood that Gordon Brown would have joined the Freemasons. So I'm interested in these things, but I think one of the most damning bits of evidence that Gordon Brown is a slimy Freemason is that there's a video which comes from the CBI Institute, and Gordon Brown was giving a speech there, and he openly and many times referred to the New World Order and how that the old world was going, and that the New World Order was coming, and this was a good thing, and that we all must embrace new globalism and a one world system basically. And we know that this is the supreme goal of the Freemasons, is to have a one world government, one world controlled by a central source with a central army. And this then would bring their sort of great sort of work of ages, which is to control the whole world. But they're not going to do this openly, you see. They're not going to actually admit that it is they that wish to control the world, because the Freemasons' way is to do things behind the scenes, to do things secretly. And this is why they're shrouded in secrecy. So when they use the Prime Minister in this way to talk about the New World Order, what they're really doing is they're tipping their hats to each other secretly about the fact that this is in place and this is coming. And I mean, nowhere more can you see evidence of the New World Order than the New World, which is America. And the New World Order being, the creation of a completely Freemasonic state, which is what America is. And America was founded by 52 of the founding fathers were in fact Freemasons. And this is openly and quite happily talked about, and they're quite proud of this in America. So much so that if you go to Washington, you've got the Washington Monument, you've got the pyramid and the all-seeing eye on the back of the dollar. They're quite proud of their connections with the Freemasons. And if you have a look on the back of the dollar, it says Novo Ordo Seclorum, which I think that means New World Order. So, they've actually got the date, and they're saying we usher in the New World Order. So in America, with the Freemasons saying, we like the New World Order, and look, we've got the all-seeing eye, and this sort of stuff, they also use the same sort of terminology in British politics, with Gordon Brown saying, oh yes, we like the New World Order, we're part of the New World Order, we're going towards the New World Order, So again, very suggestive of Gordon Brown actually being a Freemason, because why would anybody want to use those terms? They only apply and have any relevance to the Freemasons. So it is a tipping of the hat, I believe, a tipping of the hat just to say, hello boys, just doing it for you, up there sort of pushing your goals forward. And the Freemasons like to do this. They like to do things in public, in very public ways, but cloaked in a mask of secrecy and secret language that only the few Freemasons would understand. Now, it might surprise you, but it might surprise you to learn that Freemasonry is in fact a very powerful organisation which has approximately 1 million members in the UK. And if you work it out, that means that it's about 1 in 20 adult males connected with the Freemasonic order. And if you if you understand a little bit about how Freemasonry works, in so much as that Freemasons swear a blood oath of death. They swear a death blood oath to look after each other and to not basically do anything bad to another Freemason. Now, well, that sounds, in principle, that sounds okay, isn't it? Well, you wouldn't want to hurt your fellow Freemason, but the trouble is that this oath is often taken to mean that one cannot sort of tell a tale on a Freemason who might be committing an illegal act. And we hear many cases whereby chief police officers and civil servants and government politicians are often let off for doing crimes, or they never even get into court because these things are just dropped, or charges won't be made, and this sort of stuff. And I would say sort of at least higher than 50% of the time when things like this happen, it's either cronyism or connections to secret societies, which is again another form of cronyism. So basically you've got a system whereby people who get into the Freemasons can rise up through the ranks, can get given positions of power, can be protected and made immune from prosecution, and then from those positions they can enact the work of the Freemasons, which is to control society from within, secretly. And the evidence of the Freemasons liking to put themselves put their stuff out in plain display to say kind of like, here we are in control, is the way you see obelisks in a lot of towns, in a lot of cities.